Hello, everyone. It's me. I know you're all excited, and welcome to Games Awards for 2023. The reason why I'm doing this is I honestly just think that it'd be fun to kind of give awards to the games that have come out this year that I have played, and that's about it. Honestly, I just figured it'd be fun to do. So with that said, I'm going to explain the rules really quickly. There are two rules for this entire thing. The first one is I had to have played it on stream even once because it just is most of the gaming that I've spent this year. The second rule, however, is release wise, it had to be between December 2022 and November 2023. Now, the reason as to why December of last year is tacked on and this year is not at all put on is because, generally speaking, I end my streams in December, so it wouldn't be fair in that context. But the other one is, generally speaking, I think anything released in December gets like pushed to the side, like screwed over, etc. when it comes to awards and reward shows and etc. So that's why. I'm going to consistently do this if I keep doing this. So it's just to make it fair, basically. Now, when it comes to categories, I'm doing things a little bit differently. Basically, everything is categorized as either game awards, miscellaneous awards, not a game awards, and the last one, which I'll explain last. So, game awards is basically like your standard, like game of the year and stuff like that. The miscellaneous awards is for things like soundtrack, port, announcement, things of that nature. Not a game awards is for basically, well, not video game related things that have come out this year. And then the last category is called GOAT OTY. GOATOTY, greatest of all time of the year. And it is basically the best thing to come out this year, period, end of story. No questions asked. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. So that's basically what that is. And when it comes to kind of transitioning into everything, the game awards and the not a game awards are sort of the ones that contributed slightly to the GOAT OTY. Like anything in those two categories could have been GOAT OTY, basically, where all the miscellaneous stuff is things that I think deserve praise of some kind just simply because they're good or other, effectively. So, with that said, let's begin with the Game Awards. So, the first of the Game Awards is for Indie of the Year. And I only really played one indie, but basically the award goes to that one indie title that's just really good and people should play it. And it's Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is, the only one I played this year, but it's also fantastic. It's basically Wario Land's spiritual sequel because Nintendo doesn't touch it anymore. The soundtrack is great. The mechanics are smooth and fun. And I wish I was better at it. I really was. I honest to God wish I was better at Pizza Tower because it's one of those games that's just a really solid thing. The soundtrack is very fun as well. I still listen to the escape music consistently while I'm at work because it kind of makes things a bit more tolerable at times. It's just a good game, and I do think people should play it. So the next reward is for the non-Indie of the Year. So this is a AA or AAA game that's just really fantastic. And for a lot of people out there, they might be shocked by this, but my choice for non-Indie of the Year is Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. It's a game that, honest to God, I didn't think I would like as much as I do. It's a game that has two sets of player and character movement being done at the same time, which is very rare for games to do. And I think they did it really well. It's a Metroidvania that feels really fun and solid. The music is fantastic. I love the art style. The story is great. There's a lot to love about this game. It's fantastic. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did. And to those who are still kind of skeptical about it, there's a demo available on the Nintendo Switch, and you should play it just to see if you like the game or not. Now, the indie and the non-indie of the year, although great, get kind of beaten by Game of the Year, which is just the best overall game to come out this year, which is Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I cannot explain to you how well Mario Brothers Wonder does for the Mario platforming games. It's a very beautiful experience. All of the levels feel unique from each other. There's a really nice soundtrack to go alongside everything. You're able to play as Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy. You got Toads, you got Nabbit, you got Toadette, you got Yoshi. Too many characters, and that's what makes it great. There's so much variety with it. There's a bunch of fun ways you can play the game, from having different power-ups for each of the levels to playing online against other people in races or with people and helping each other out. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. Heavily recommended to people. It's a great game. All right, so now for the miscellaneous awards. None of these really go towards the GOAT Odie, but they still deserve praise for what they are. And the first one is Soundtrack of the Year. It's just a good soundtrack. It's bop-a-loppin'. It's fantastic. And it goes to Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush's soundtrack legitimately works really well for two reasons. It's a great soundtrack for an action game, and it's a great soundtrack for a rhythm game. And it lets you feel intense action with everything. A lot of the music just works really well for Hi-Fi Rush, and if it wasn't for the crashing issues, maybe this would have won non-indie of the year. Because honestly speaking, I could have put Bayonetta Origins here as well. I could have put Pizza Tower here as well, but I didn't play any other indie titles. Like, a lot of really good soundtracks that came out this year, and Hi-Fi Rush is no exception. Great soundtrack. Give it a listen. You won't regret it. Next up is Port of the Year. You gotta give praise to ports. Sometimes they're god-awful and atrocious. Sometimes they are godly and fantastic, and sometimes they just make the game a bit more accessible, and that's why Dwarf Fortress is my port of the year. And yes, it technically is a port. The game was ported to Steam. Is the port done? No. You got the Adventure update coming out next year. But it makes the game playable. It lets you financially support the devs in a sort of easy-ish way of just, hey, here's a big bunch of money all at once, and I can play a simple version of Dwarf Fortress without having to go through and configure the modding files, because Dwarf Fortress does not look like the Steam version. Naturally, it looks like ASCII art, which I am too stupid to fathomably understand. Next up is the Weird of the Year, and I know what you're thinking. Isn't that a little mean? No. It's weird, but in a good way. It's conceptually super oddball, but it works. And that's why I have to kind of give it to Minesweeper Tetris, which you just hearing that makes you go, how does this even work? And you're playing Minesweeper, and new rows of Minesweeper slowly come up from the bottom. And it works. It's fun, honestly. The stream I did of it, I wish I had done more, because it's a fun little game that really helps pass the time. Honestly speaking, I think I should play it more, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to, because I've got enough on my plate as it is. Minesweeper Tetris, you're a fantastic game, and I love you. I really do. I love you. You're a good game. You're weird. You're a weird game, but I love you. The next award is for the update/DLC of the year. Could be both, or either or. So, games get updates, games get DLC. This is just kind of the state of video games that we're in right now. Some of them are really good and do a ton of stuff for the game. Other times you're just like, I hate this dev for doing this thing that makes the game aggravating or fantastic, and I want to keep playing it. And the award goes to Dota 2's 7.33 patch. They make the map from here to like this. They add more objectives. Roshan is in 2 different sides of the map. You have more runes. There's a bunch of new things going on all the time. It's crazy. Like, it's no joke. It should have been called Dota 2 Patch 8.0. That is how much the patch did for the game. And to an extent, it shifted the whole meta in a way that kind of got annoying a little bit. The rest of the patch could have been but the map changes were huge. They were colossal. It's not even a joke how much that patch did for Dota, and people are still trying to figure out things, and they've been reconfiguring the patch. It's a good patch, and now we're on 7.35, which is a crazy patch as well. Dota's a fun game. You should play it. So this slightly breaks the rule of the, having not played it, but I think it still deserves to be an award in itself for announcement of the year, video game announcement of the year. This was such a good announcement that it shook people to their cores, or at least shook me to my core. I was shooketh to such a degree that it's not even funny. And it goes to the Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remaster announcement. You don't understand how much I love The Thousand Year Door. It's one of my favorite games of all time. The fact that it's finally getting any form of attention from Nintendo is psychotic to me, because, they kind of treated it like that weird little disgusting icky thing. And now it's getting remastered and everybody's super happy about it. It's crazy. It's so good. Thank God that Nintendo decided to remake a good video game, or at the very least port it so that people can play it and understand why people like it so much. I'm so happy about it. You don't even understand. Am I going to buy it? I have no idea. Like, I already have the game. Do I need it again? But I'm just happy that people can play it on the modern system and not have to spend like several $100s trying to play it. Thank you, Nintendo, for actually doing that. Alrighty, now we have the Not a Game Awards. These are basically not video games, every single one of these little categories. And the first of which is Media of the Year. So this is basically a film, an anime, a manga, whatever. It's just a non-video game form of media that was really, really good. And for this year, it's Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That's the Media of the Year, by the way. It's a really good film. It encompasses a D&D campaign and just sitting down and playing it almost perfectly. There's a scene where you can just straight up tell that it's the equivalent of the Dungeon Master just spewing stuff and explaining things about a part of the dungeon. You have, like, within the same scene, effectively a failed savings throw. You've got like the banter in another scene. The banter in another scene just feels like it's the players talking out of game. It works so well. It's such a perfect film. There are problems with it, though, but it's a fantastic film. It really is. If it wasn't for the Not a Game of the Year winner, this probably would have been it. That's how good this film is, at least in my honest opinion. There's also, the stuff that Wizards of the Coast did that kind of pissed me off a little bit, because, it was scummy, and that's the other reason why I can't put it to Not a Game of the Year winner. So, yeah. All right, so you're probably wondering, what else is he going to do for Not a Game Awards? Because he shoved media into one category. The answer is Legos. Because I like Legos, and the best thing to come out this year is the Lord of the Rings Rivendell set. There is so much to talk about that set. For example, I don't actually own it. I want to buy it, though, because it looks fantastic. It's very pretty. It actually shows off something that happened with Bilbo Baggins during the area of the film in Rivendell, where he freaks out about the ring. They put that on his little minifigure. It's fantastic. I love it. It works so well. And That's why I have to state about the set. It's one of those sets that I really want to buy that just looks good. To those curious, I also want the Eiffel Tower that came out this year, and that's like even more than the Rivendell set, and it's taller than the Rivendell set. I just think that the Rivendell set is prettier, and I do want it a bit more, but it's a case of where the F am I gonna put it? He says with like over a dozen sets that he still has to figure out where he's gonna put them. So, you know, I have a problem. Leave me alone. So for the not a game of the year winner, it goes to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is a fantastic film. I did think it was going to just be finished, but no, there's going to be another film, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with. The next film looks pretty good from what like scenes have leaked for the most part. The film does a really good job of just showing how weird Spider-Man is as a character. There's a T-Rex Spider-Man, because why not? There's a car Spider-Man, because why not? There's a cat Spider-Man, because why not? You got a T-Rex, one might as well have a cat. It's a great film. What it talks about, I think, works really well as well. That is a bit of a weird statement that I just said. But yeah, it basically goes, yeah, you know, Spider-Man has all these continuity things that are really just kind of stupid. And we're going to talk about that. And they made this silly, dumb villain an actual threat. It's a really good film for what it does. And that's why it has to be the Not a Game of the Year award winner. Because it's a good film. I would recommend taking a look at it and make sure you see the first Spider-Verse film as well, because they're both very perfectly solid animated films that were done here. It's good. There you go. All right. The GOAT Odie, the greatest of all time of the year, even though literally everybody already knows what I'm going to say. You have seen me wear this shirt throughout the entirety of this. It's Pikmin 4. I don't care who you are. Okay? I got a Pikmin game. It got announced last year. It was really beautiful. I didn't think Pikmin 4 was going to be a thing, and it was, and the game's fantastic. Does it have problems? Yes. Does every other game have problems? Yes. Baldur's Gate 3 has problems. You know, it's like... But anyway, no, F Baldur's Gate 3, I didn't play it. Pikmin 4 is fantastic. The music is very calming and relaxing. The Pikmin are adorable. The Ice Pikmin, albeit a little bit OP, is a great addition in terms of the as dictated Dandori battles, which I'm pretty sure is still a word that was made before Pikmin. But anyway, it's a fantastic, fantastic game. There's a demo available for it on Switch that I heavily recommend people play to get an understanding of how it works. It's the nicest Pikmin game in terms of difficulty, because there's no time limits like there were with the first three games. There's the ability to kind of rewind as well. It's such a fun, good game that works. It's a great IP. I think it's one of Nintendo's most fun and interesting IPs, even more than Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, etc., because it's also a strategy game for the most part. On console, how many of those actually exist? How many real-time styled strategy games work and exist on console? Not a lot. But Pikmin is one of them, and it's fun, and I love it. It's such a good game. It deserves the GOAT Odie for this year. Okay, it really does. I love Pikmin 4. Please play Pikmin 4. It's such a fun game. I love it. So those were the awards. I wanted to do this a bit differently, but I didn't think I would make it look clean, so I figured I would just keep it simple, stupid. So, yeah, I'm gonna probably do this next year. I don't know if awards, same thing basically. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the categories the way they are. I don't know if I'm gonna change them. I don't know if I'll be more respective towards what I've streamed this year than, say, strictly release stuff. I have no idea. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and tell me what you think. I'll still probably do it, but just still tell me what you think. But I hope you all have a good rest of the day. I hope you all have a good rest of the night. I hope you all have a good rest of whatever. And bye bye.